Hi, Aquarius. Okay, anyone new to Opal Oracle, welcome. And anyone returning, hi. Okay, so Aquarius, you are the last sign. 12th house. Self-undoing, sacrifice, compassion. Look what just fell out like a feather in Leo season. Good. It's all about the heart. We'll take that, okay? It was a soft kind of air. It wasn't sharp, so we know that the energy of it was from God, right? Whatever God that you connect to. Now, there's a question for everyone. What would you do? And it's interesting too, you're the last one and you're an air sign, so I guess I can have this conversation with you and you like it, is I've been asking everyone like what they do if the internet didn't exist, like overall, not just tarot. I mean, of course, part of tarot and like how we're learning, and you know, there's a side note for everyone to kind of take note, literally, about what it is that you're learning about, so that you can, you know, and like how long the videos were, so you can sort of determine like how long we're on the internet. Okay, it's important to figure out that for our own health. Okay, psychologically, spiritually, energetically, what have you. Now, but the funny thing is that, well, it's not really funny, I guess, but most people, I think they thought in some side way, I don't know how exactly it was taken, but I sense that it wasn't taken in the way that I was proposing this situation. So there's something about having a clearer communication when you're trying to like, you may think that something's very clear, but whoever's on the other side, because the way we all remember things is different, right? The way that we absorb things, the truth of the matter, you know. You can do this as an exercise too with like your friends. Like when you're in a room, have both of you look at the room and then close your eyes, and then you ask, okay, well, what do you remember about the room? You know, or you can both think about it and then write it down and then exchange what it is that you remembered, colors, whatever it was that was in there, and you can kind of figure out how you think that two people that are on the same page can actually see things very differently. Now, of course, this can be very beneficial, right? But it can also cause, with all benefit comes some sort of challenge at times, so it's important to be aware of that. Okay, Aquarius. For August. Aquarius. Your card right in the center, front and center. Wow. Just a second, please. Okay, there's always been it's interesting that I said that. There's always been, and then it was just blank. So I guess you have to fill in the blank there. It's always been what? And then I heard, and why? Like, how come? Why is it that it's always been that way? And then I heard, who cares? Do you care? Does someone else care about something always being X way? So that, because what is that? We get stuck in the way that something is supposed to be, or an unconscious or conscious expectation of that. I see that there's something significant, extremely significant, that you are coming to spiritually understand about yourself, about the world at large, and your participation within that world. Okay? You do have to cut something out to be able to achieve that. It's a big decision, too. It's actually kind of two decisions. One's in your mind, one's in your energy of your body. One's in your action, actually. I guess that here it expresses your mind and the way you're thinking about something and what you're going to do, the action that will be taken from whatever it is that you've been thinking about, okay? They do coincide, though. I see some of you are thinking heavily about your career, about your career. For a lot of you, your career has to do with others. I mean, most people don't work individually. There's always an other in there, but I sense it with you because you rule the collective. You know, a lot of you are involved with folks in a way that has something to do with nature, has something to do with spirit. Okay? Some sort, and also for a lot of you having to do with healing. Okay? You do have to cut out a way that you talk to your partner. That's part of what you have to cut out. I heard it's too much too fast sometimes for whoever it is that you're dealing with. The only cups on the board are the Two of Cups. Of course, there's lots of water in this card also, and another technical Two of Cups. Okay, but 2 and 2 make 4. The 4 is, I don't know. The 4 is, maybe what happens is that you have all these beautiful blessings in your life, right? You're starting to figure out you and your ego, your root chakra and your ego, right? Like feeling stronger about it in the way that it's not controlling you, but you have a better hold on it, okay? Where your heart is the main focus, okay? And the root chakra is just there in case if it needs to expand and protect you or whatever, then it can do that, but you're more heart-centered moving forward. I see that there's a portal right in front of you too, and I see that you will be going through it soon. Something about the 29th for a lot of you, there's something important about that. It also, that breaks down to an 11, so that goes back to the new moon, okay? Even though it technically was on the 10th, there's still something about that too. It's like whatever you communicated, whether it was unconsciously, consciously, let's hope it was consciously because it's a wonderful time to do so. You know, that plays out generally in the next 6 months. I see that during Leo season, you will be closing something up. Do you hear that? I was like stammering and I couldn't speak. This happened in June, remember? Throat chakra. there's a change within the throat chakra. And the throat chakra, which is usually a deeper blue, it actually needs to be light blue. Okay? Like this, and this, and this, and this. Light blue. So how do we make that? Well, we add more light to it. That's how we lighten something. It's not that it's any less, I heard, potent, but it is more easily received by others. Okay? I mean, you can come in talking like this if you want to, you know, real stern, real heavy, worried, stressed, lots of expectation in this card, okay? I see in a way, I heard you want someone to hurry up and figure something out too. But that's your ego talking. I heard it's none of your business. Because your business right now is you figuring out what it is that you want. What is it that you want, Aquarius? Literally. This and this is manifestation, for lack of a better word. It's a big deal. I feel like these two people are having a conversation across water, too. Like across the land. There could be long distance communication also. I see that. I see that maybe while there's some sort of travel going on, there is something that's becoming more clear to you about yourself, about where it is that you're going, about what you're really closing out, about your heart, okay? Also about your relationships and your work. Like love-wise, and of course you can be in love with your job. You should be, you know, technically we can be in love with everything, you know. But I see that. I feel like for some of you, for a lot of you, you want the male to just, I heard, get over it. Like to wake up. Just wake up. Wake up. That's what I hear. Wake up. Because the only one in nighttime right here, the only sleeping card is this. But he's like, hi. Like when your relationship feels like this, you know, if you have one and it's positive, whether that would be your partnerships, like with your lover, right? Or your mate, or with your, you know, with God, whatever you connect with, your relationship with yourself. There's a lot of worry in this card, okay? I see that you want to be free. But the thing is it's like you want to do whatever you want to do. But you want a relationship that's, you want a relationship too. You want a relationship that's just as free as you are. But the thing is you have no pentacles here. The only earth here is the devil. Okay, this is technically Capricorn. So it's like you got to climb the mountain to get this earth. You got to climb this mountain. Like, and climbing a mountain means that you're determined to take the time to do that. And I keep seeing the Three of Pentacles in the Kim Kranz tarot, where it's the mountain and the Three of Pentacles. And I always see it as like, who would climb this mountain with you? Who do you trust to climb this mountain with you? People that you know have the skill set, the determination, the wherewithal, the intelligence, etc., the patience, right, to do this. Because I heard not everybody is going to climb that mountain. Okay? And even some of the people that maybe have said or are saying that they will climb that mountain, see, I sense it more as people who have said, it's like, you know that they didn't. Like, you know, they could say yes, and then they go halfway up and then come back down. And they're like, no, I can't handle it. Or, you know, I don't want to, I actually changed my mind. I don't want to climb this mountain anymore. But I don't sense that part actually happening. It's just, it goes back to, how do you balance your severe need for independence, okay? I just see like this and this. Leo and Aquarius together is like, I do whatever I want. I do whatever I want. You can't, I heard you can't stop me. But the thing is you're not, I mean, even though that it's coming out a little sassy, the feeling that I'm getting from these cards is it's just kind of like, I guess it's more about, I have to do me. But if you want a relationship, right, this is all in line with it in like a diagonal. If you want a relationship too, or if you have one that you want to stay, you know, whatever context that may be, then you can't just do you, and you can't expect everyone to, your freedom, it's not that you can't be free in a relationship, right? But I see that there's responsibilities, and in a way, it's like, just a second. You want someone to lighten up. I also see it's important for you to how do you lighten up your mind, right? And we just talked about the throat chakra too. How do you lighten that up? How do you lighten yourself on all levels? How do you do that? Because remember, even when we express something externally like, yes, you know, this is so centered and healing and individual and proud and courageous, right? If the subconscious mind, because this is stability, this came out as a clarifier, this on this devil, and then I added one more just because this is inner child. Okay? This is the father, this is the father. So I see subconsciously you still are sort of functioning Even if you come out like, I'm just saying this, right? Like, I'm just trying to say this. But what it's received as is kind of this. It's interesting. So, because I said father twice, that's important. Your father, father of your children, if you're a father, whatever. Because I know that you don't... Interesting. This was just upright in the deck. I know that you don't want to be chained to anything. Okay, you want to be free, right? To go where you want, when you want, whenever you want, right? But I keep going back to this devil. It keeps pulling me in. It's like you have... there's responsibilities to attend to. I see in some way or another, I'm sorry. I guess what it is before you make any decisions, because there's about 8, I think there's still 8 things in heavenly bodies in retrograde, okay? It's kind of like easy does it. There's a time and a place. I see when Saturn starts moving forward is when maybe some sort of decision will be made that has to do with your structures, for some of you, your marriage, I also see you lightening up something about, maybe you figure out there's like, I sense for some of you, there's just one more thing about your dad. And then you can just be like, oh, God, that is so much better. Oh my God, that's so much better. Because although Marilyn Manson is whatever, but there's that one line where it's like, you cannot sedate all the things that you hate. And then it's something about like, for if you ignore the same mistakes you will make, right? It's really about some sort of recognition of responsibility for your own way that you're thinking about it, or your own perception of, I heard what clear communication is. Because I see that someone doesn't want to fight at all, not even interested. I see that someone is really thinking about the future deeply, okay? Like what, I see that it's very important for manifestation, paying attention to energetically what's going on in the stars, okay? Like there are certain days when you shouldn't really have a conversation. Maybe it's not the best time to have a conversation, right? About something big. But because you're an air sign, whenever something sort of comes to you big in your head, it just comes out of your mouth. It's like, blah, 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 blah. And for a lot of you, unless you're with another air sign, or the people around you are within that element, but specifically romantically speaking, I see that, or even your friends, you know, but I see the relationship strong here. And of course, that's even with yourself, because some days, man, are just not great days to, you'll end up expressing yourself in a way where instead of your strength being like this with like grace and patience, your strength is like this, you know, at very least to someone else. And that goes back to the beginning where like maybe you say something and you're like, don't you understand what I'm saying? And you think it's so clear, but it just, I heard it comes out sideways. And that goes back to the subconscious, okay? Because you have so much raw energy all the time. I feel like all Aquarians are sort of like an Energizer bunny. You know, you're just like going, going, going. You can do so much. You can get so much done, you know? You're very active, but then you also know how to chill so deeply too. I also see here something about herbal medicine. I'm seeing like these two cards here, something with the green. Like in ways of, I know it's later in the season here, but I guess in Australia, this is getting to you. But there's certain planting seasons, which I'm sure a lot of you already know this, but like if you're going to plant anything that's a tuber in the ground, a root vegetable, then you plant it on a new moon because there's less light and it will be, that's where it grows, right? It's in the dark. And if you plant anything that grows above ground, like peas or something, then you do it like the day after a full moon. Obviously, you would never plant on a full moon because maybe like 3 days after the full moon. But on a full moon, you wouldn't because that's a completion. You would harvest then, right? But so there's something about that too. I also see like tying something up. And then I did hear like a male getting tied. But it's overall, there's something being tied up. Some loose ends, they're being tied up. Can be a lot of fear during Saturn retrograde, okay? Like you want to make sure that you do the right thing. Again, all these retrogrades overall are just kind of like, humanity, please slow down, okay? Let's all just chill out and kind of reflect a little bit, appreciate where we're at. I know that there are things that you want to expedite in a sense, but you can only go as fast as you can go. Okay, you can only go as fast as you're allowed to go. And I see that wherever it is that you're going, you're not going alone. Okay, I see that you have help on your journey. I see that you don't know where you're going exactly. And in a way that kind of like, and I see that until like December, you're not really going to know exactly like which way it is. But I see that you'll find out. There will be some sort of, for some of you, there's some sort of contract. But to say yes to something, we must say no to something else. There's an infinite supply. Interesting. I was looking up at the Knight of Swords because he's always too fast for me. He's like an unchecked teenager, like adolescent, fucking wild child kid. That, if you're reactionary from your subconscious, like this pissed off inner child with the devil, next to the devil, with the sword, it's so powerful. You are so powerful. Sorry, I didn't mean to point at you. But when I said there's an infinite supply, well, these two cards popped out. So it shows me that you have a choice. You can have an infinite supply of pain or regret or whatever. Or you can have an infinite supply of amazing, beautiful, raw emotion and love and passion for what it is that you're doing in this life every moment. You choose what pool you pull where your reservoir is. That's why when people say, oh, source, you know, a lot of people don't like to maybe say God now. I like the word God because it's dog backwards, and they're just so sweet, aren't they? Yep, silent. Whenever they talk, we tell them to stop talking, right? So many rules and regulations around them. But then they're expected to give us so much love all the time, even if we ignore them or we don't see them all day, you know. They only ask for like a little bit of food. But anyway, when people say source, going back to source, well, that's your energy. I see that there's an infinite source. You choose. You choose which one you want. Past or present, positive or negative. I actually heard this in the beginning for you, but I wasn't sure, but it came again, so it is. I sense that I love the acronym game. I find it very helpful for learning. I see that you should write the word father, or of course whatever language that you use, padre, or you know, whatever country you're from, whatever language is natural to you, your native tongue. Write father, and write the acronyms to what that would be. You know, write them on a piece of paper like this: FATHER, whatever, PADRE. Down the line, over and over. You know, fill a page up. You can do a couple rows. I see that that's important. It'll help you to figure out something subconscious that's going on. Okay? Yes. So that you can close out some sort of family cycle that just it's in your psyche, and I heard it's got to go. It's interrupting who it is that you work with. It keeps you indecisive to sort of like subconscious walls, because it doesn't seem like it. This is the first pentacle to come out. Okay, it doesn't seem like you can't see spiritual work in the physical world, right? So like it's harder to sort of gauge where it is that we're at and how much it is that we're going through. You know, I don't even know what a machine would be called that measures energy. Does anyone know what that's called? And where to find one? Would it be measured in like, I'm sure it'd be measured in some sort of like maybe would it be a sound frequency? Like even if we're silent, like would it be a magnetism? Is that what we're looking up? Interesting. I don't know. I guess that's something that you probably find interesting. But yeah, like it's clearing the waters, okay? I see by your birth month you're going to be in such a spectacular place, okay? For some of you too, and I know this is obviously just for some, but this came out like, I feel like a month ago. But I was wondering, these cards are all here, and I just see this as, well, I see this as a child, okay? So, of course, in one way, this is your inner child finally growing up and being more mature, right? You healing it with the help of Leo, with the help of the sun and your heart, your own courageousness, right? But I also see this as, I saw this, and for some reason I felt pregnancy, and I asked, and this little page came, which is a child. So of course, for those of you who already have children, part of the children that you've been blessed with, even if they're not yours, but just the children that you've had throughout your lifetime, like in your arms, you know what I mean? Like in your world, is all there for you to help you heal. Okay, I also see, and this message came out before in a different reading, but where you should learn much. If you have children or can be around children, it's very important, again, for your healing process to do so and to observe them. Okay? Ask them questions. Be really involved. Okay? Very, what have you. I do also see, for those of you who want a child, it would be a more appropriate time. Interesting, I said time, just a second. It's 8 o'clock, it's time to shut off all the electronics. Well, I actually see some of you could get pregnant in August, but it's, I also see in the next 8 months or so, could be a beneficial time for you. I see that December would be some sort of month about that. That's coming up again too. Interesting. I mean, I know some of you are older and aren't even interested, but of course this is for somebody, you know. And I guess I want to say, for those of you who are like waiting for that, and even if it's just the connection again with like your own inner child, like the way that you want to be the loving mother or nurturer that maybe you didn't feel like you had, or, you know, overall in your family or anything like that, just healing that kind of stuff. You know, we can't expedite that, but we can choose how we function in our everyday lives, right? Like how tight we are, whether we're, again, it's an infinite source. You choose. You choose. All right. I love you so much. Happy August. Oh, lastly, there is oh wow. There is a full moon in Pisces, I believe on the 26th of August. So Pisces, and considering you're the 12th sign, Pisces is the feet, Pisces is self-undoing, full moons are about completion. I'm sure that you are aware of something energetically, spiritually, that you're working through. So just pray for that to be closed. Take some time for yourself, okay? And even get out of doors and be under the moon, okay? And ask the moon. Okay? All right. Love you. Peace out.